Sup, YouTubers? Your girl Survivor here. So I'm going to just focus on this. In fact, this is, actually, I bought this because it had, I bought this at the John Holland thing, the psychic medium. So, and I want people to know that, this is part 2 of John Holland life vlog. And I want people to know that when I ordered the tickets, I ordered them on, like, a gift card. And I didn't, like, subscribe to his channel via Facebook or anything, or YouTube, because I didn't want them to know my name, you know, like, so that they couldn't look it up and find out any information, and, you know, because sometimes you never know if they do that when people order with their credit cards or something. So anyway, like I said, it was in New Hampshire, audience of 50, oh my God, I burped again, I'm so sorry. My neighbor didn't end up going with me, so, you know, my friend George went with me, and unfortunately, I bought 3 tickets and one went to waste. They were like $60 a piece, so that kind of sucked. But, you know, we decided to stay over because it's like a 2-hour drive to New Hampshire. So, I had written down the nicknames that I had said in the last video, so you're going to have to look at the last video if you want to know. And audience of 50, so we're in there. And it's like 25 seats on one side, 25 seats on the other. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating the same story that I made videos of. It's just that it's longer when I'm doing it this way, and I can just get it all out there, even though Tucker kind of shot that idea the last time I was trying to do it. And anyway, so let's get on with this. So he starts off talking about someone, you know, that had passed away and been given a full military burial, like someone who was decorated in the service and everything. Now, my father was a decorated gunner's mate in World War II. So, but I didn't say, you know, oh, that could be me, because I wasn't at his funeral. I didn't know, you know. I'm pretty certain, you know, that probably they would have done that. I'm not sure. He was Jewish, so I don't know if they would do that. I'm not sure. Not that they wouldn't do it to a, you know, for a Jewish person, but I wasn't at his funeral. I just didn't know. Oddly enough, when my father was a twin, oddly enough, him and his brother both were in the service in the Navy, and John Holland was the name of the ship that his brother was on, which I found very odd. So anyway, you know, he starts talking to this woman that, you know, worked there. And later on, you know, I did take note of her name, and I looked on Facebook, and a lot of things he was saying to her were things, you know, could have come from Facebook. So, then he starts talking to somebody else, you know, on the same side of the room, which was the other side of where I was. And, he's talking to this woman, and it just seemed like everybody was kind of like, well, yeah, kind of, you know, trying to fit, you know, round pegs into square holes, whatever. But then he says, has anyone here had a brother that passed away named William? And I did. It was on my father's side. Right? So I said, I did. And he didn't, like, even, you know, if you're going to ask a question like that, and I'm the only person who it applies to, you would think he'd start talking, right? But he didn't. He kept talking to this woman over there. I think he kind of, like, maybe brushed me. I said, no, it's not you. Even though, like, it was a direct question, and I'm the only one who answered it with the yes. So this woman starts going, oh, wait a minute. I think my father had an uncle that was named William, but why is he here? I don't want him here. And he goes, oh, sorry, William. She doesn't want to talk to you. But in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, my brother William, I never met him. I've never met him, but my mother used to always say that, you know, he was the one that was kind of more like me. in like physical way. Like, I don't know. She just kind of always said that, but he had moved to Texas, and because he didn't want to, be in the family business, not my family business, their family business. My father was a pioneer in the field of cryogenics with tooling, and he owned, a big company, and his father or grandfather invented less oil. So, they had some money. Unfortunately, I didn't get any. I live in one of the only 2 states left that don't have any laws for illegitimate children. There's no laws for illegitimate children in the state of Massachusetts, as long as the father does not recognize the child as his own. So, and if you have enough money, you can pay a lawyer to fight anything with that. So anyway, in my head, I was saying, my brother William had gone to Texas and became a state trooper, and he was taking radar on the side of the road, and there was a really big heat wave going on at that time in Texas. A lot of people were dying, and there was carbon monoxide leaking in from the air conditioner of his cruiser, and he, died on the side of the road. So, but in my head, when this guy, John Holland was like, oh, bye, she doesn't want to talk to you, I'm thinking that could have been the only time in my life I could have talked to him if it was him. I just felt like a direct question, and I'm the only one who says yes, should have been given some kind of attention. So then he's talking to somebody else, and he says, who didn't make it to the hospital before their mother passed away? Once again, I was the only one. I said, I didn't. Not because I didn't want to be there, but because they didn't call me. That's just another whole subject. I mean, I can't even, we'll go into that. But anyway, they didn't call me until after she was dead already, and then they hadn't even closed her mouth. Like, her face was, like, frozen in, like, a scream. And I always think, that she thinks I didn't come. It's just, that's a whole slippery slope, right? So, he's like, well, this woman suffered some kind of a brain aneurysm, and at the end she couldn't talk anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's me, And he's like, nope, sorry, honey, it's not you. So he's, like, once again, talking to somebody else, and then then he starts talking to this other person, and none of that applied to me, and then he's talking to this other person, all still on this other side of the room. Which, now that I think about it, was kind of weird, because the majority of the things when he was talking to people, were always on that side of the room, and I don't know, like, if maybe he is a fraud, and maybe this one time he's getting, like, real applicable things coming through, and he just couldn't deal with it, So now I'm picturing my mother going away, too, like, so then he starts talking about, he sees a young kid there with, he suffered some sort of a head injury, and, and so this people go, oh, that's our son, and, he's like he goes, he's a blonde kid, and he's got so much energy, and he keeps pacing around, and he's got, like, this little yipper dog with him. Now, my friend's son was just like that, and her dog, Daisy, who was a Chihuahua, had just passed away. And, I hate when you tell someone you're going to be making a video and they text you and they know you're doing it and they just throws you off when a text flashes on the screen that you're filming on. But so she's this person, this kid was in his early 20s and the head injury, like he did shoot himself in the head, but they were like, oh, he got hit by a car, and he's saying, oh, when he says the yipper dog, they're like, well, no, we had a dog years ago, but it wasn't a yipper dog. Like I said, square pegs, round holes. But I didn't want to take anything away from this family, so I wasn't gonna, And he's like, and now, now he's pointing to a tattoo, and he's saying, see that? That's me. That's me. And when I got home, I did ask my friend, and she said, he did have his name tattooed on himself, and then a couple of his friends, after he passed away, got his name tattooed on them. And so he asked the people, oh, do you have his name tattooed? Well, no, I have a dolphin tattooed. I'm just saying. That seemed very coincidental as well. But I didn't say anything. And then he's walking down the aisle, and he says something like, did anybody have like a sister that passed away or something? And I said, I did. And then he looks at me and he's like, oh, this isn't for you, sweetheart. And then he stops talking, and you'll see, like, I'll put a link in the description of one of his shows where you can see that he'll stop and he'll talk, and he always says it's like he's talking to the people that are coming to him, and he does, and he says, sorry, this is for me, not me, himself. And he looks at me, and he goes, what you should do, sweetie, is write down the nicknames of the people that you want to contact and have the paper close to. But I didn't even get the chance to say, but I did. It's right here. Like, because that's just so weird. I don't want this video to get much longer, so I guess I am going to have to do it in parts. I guess it's a longer story than I thought. But I am going to follow up and finish the story, because I do need to get this story out, because it's very odd. So please join in for part 3. Peace, love, and tacos.